Hey guys, my wife and I had a chance to check out San Diego Comic-Con this year. And of course, we spent all our time at the Battleborn demo. But between all the waiting in line and playing of the same level, we learned a lot about the characters.
That's right, and we got a lot of cool Battleborn swag too. If anyone has Phoebe, Marquis, Calderis, Oscar Mike, or Montana, we'll trade you for anybody. We got so many duplicates.
Either way though, we wanted to share our experience of playing the game and using each character.
Between both of us, we played each character at least once throughout the 4-day event.
So without further ado, let's start with Phoebe. Phoebe's movement speed was slightly slow, and her range wasn't the best, but she made up for it through her Phase Gate and Blade Rush specials, which teleport her forward and shoot 4 swords respectively. Phoebe's Blade Cascade ultimate was also one of the better ones in my opinion, and completely cleared an area of all enemies over time. In terms of leveling, Sharpened Blade at level 3, which powered up Phoebe's already solid melee game, and Phase Gate V2 at level 6, which drastically reduces her damaging teleport's cooldown, seemed like strong options for her.
Marquis the Sniper butler robot was definitely one of my top 2 favorites going in, and he certainly did not disappoint. His temporal distortion allowed you to get easy shots on enemies by slowing them down. And who doesn't love Houdini the Bomb Owl? For leveling, Whodunit at level 2 was fun and memorable, as it made your deployed owls invisible. At level 7, Marquis could choose between giving his primary weapon, Bindlebane, a bigger clip size, or more damage. Both were solid options that noticeably made him more dangerous. Bindleblast, Marquis's ultimate, was a single shot that had to be charged but multiplied exponentially in damage the farther away the target was, ultimately being a possible one-hit KO.
Calderis was a double-jumping beast on the battlefield, good at close and mid-range. Gravitic Burst made sure you were always close to the action, and helped a lot with rejoining the battle after dying. Flashbang really got going at level 4 with Flash Barrage, upping the bombs and damage. Aerial Assault, the ultimate, dealt a lot of damage to an area quickly as opposed to the slower Blade Cascade, but took a little while to charge. Like the guide said though, Calderis excelled in hitting the opponent and then getting the hell out of there, as he wasn't the sturdiest of characters.
Verad Wrath, the not a vampire, was great at close range and definitely quick on his feet, especially at level 3 after gaming the coveted double jump. Crossblade was one of his only ranged options, but it did the job well, and Wrath's above the average defenses allowed him to still get close even when it was in cooldown. If his crazy combo damage and melee weren't enough, Wrath actually healed himself while doing them, and level 8s, to the point, increased the damaging and the healing. Dreadwind, the ultimate that everyone's already seen in like every trailer, pretty much killed all enemies close to him. Wrath's 3-sword style is not a joke.
Truly a dwarf, as playing Boldor basically meant you're cutting everyone down at the knees or the groin. This little guy was the most dangerous character at close range. Although it could be a little difficult to use at times, Shield Dash could get you in range to start to melee, and Rage made you fight faster as you killed things. Axe Toss was his only projectile as far as I saw, but it did decent damage. The ultimate, Rune Magic, was unique in that it buffed the axe until you used your other specials, so you had to kinda set it up in order to reap the most benefits. As far as leveling goes, I really remember Impatience at level 8, which allowed you to use Boulder Dash more often, which was good because he was usually always in the back of the group.
My other favorite, Thorn the Archer Elf Girl, played similarly to Marquis, but with some subtle differences. Volley was invaluable, covering a wide portion of the screen with 5 arrows that also ricocheted. I spammed it as often as possible. Thorn had lower than average health, but was always healing herself like a Pokemon holding leftovers, so staying out of the main skirmish was important. If she ever did find herself in trouble though, Blake gave her a decent-sized safe zone that damaged enemies. Wrath of the Wild tossed a spirit bomb that exploded and gave you room to breathe also. At level 2, Cursed Earth gave you arrows that gave you a damage domino effect when hanging out in your swanky Blight condo, and at level 7, Vaulting Hunter gave Thorn arguably the highest jump of any character in the game.
Hands down, Miko was my favorite character to play for this version of Battleborn, and no one was more surprised with that fact than me, as I usually don't enjoy healers. Miko's kunai and melee moves felt intuitive and almost rhythmic to use. Miko's Poison Bomb, Cloud of Spores, was a good get-off-me move and could even save overwhelmed allies. As he is mainly a healer, Fungus Among Us, the ultimate, has Miko throwing his super mushroom / Hokage hat head onto the ground, which creates a huge area of constant healing. The one thing to watch out for though was the fact that enemies could attack and destroy the shroom, and there were more than a couple times I saw it just straight up massacred in less than 5 seconds due to poor placement. When you reach level 7, make sure to pick up Blade Slinger to really start laying down those poison stings.
In my opinion, Arendi was the most complex character to play as, but once you got the hang of using her abilities, she became very enjoyable. Nullify was great at dealing close damage, but enemies had to be within melee range, it seemed, for it to hit. Shadowfire Pillar took what seemed like a long time to come out, but was aimable and spat out a lot of fire on enemies. Of all the characters, Arendi seemed to be the most customizable through leveling, and this allowed you to pretty much play her as you wanted. Prognostication at level 5 and Rapid Deterioration at level 8 were among my favorite, and both cut down on her cooldown time. The fact that if you used Pillar and then Nullify in that order, Pillar would come back online faster. Her ultimate, Paradigm Shift, is also possibly the most damaging fast ultimate in the game at this stage of development.
Mike played like your typical military FPS character, in a good way. Both of his specials were grenades, one being a normal one and the other being a cloaking device that ended when he was attacked. At level 2, Nades on Nades increased his traditional grenade throw by giving out 5 little grenade children on impact. His rifle was also pretty much standard issue and felt like one of the more reliable weapons in the game. It reloaded quickly and dealt consistent damage. Airstrike, the ultimate, was another area effect super that rewarded you for hurting your enemy into a small area.
Last, but certainly not least in terms of size, is Montana. More than a little bit slow and with a wide hitbox, Montana had one of the best scopes, at least to me, and you can hit from a decent range due to his height. The Lumberjack Dash gave Montana a movement option, and it knocked enemies way far back. Balancing Montana's minigun's temperature through use of Hailstorm seemed key to playing the character, and you could modify this interplay of hot and cold with different leveling choices. I, however, thoroughly enjoyed increasing Montana's survivability with level 3's Pumped Up for health and level 6's Swole Shield for, shield. I did see another player pick Feeling the Burn at level 6, though, which makes it so that the minigun never overheats, but instead damages Montana when used beyond heat capacity, and that seemed to work out okay for them. Mansformation kept Montana safe for at least a while and popped enemies up close for you to shoot. And either option at level 10, which buffs this ultimate, made the AI respect this option even more. Okay, well that's all we have for you this time. Make sure to check out our gameplay video. It's pretty rough footage, but I hope you'll enjoy it nonetheless.